Welcome back. Never run alone. My name is Rien MacDonald, joined today for a special episode. We are less than 48 hours out from the Sydney Marathon, the first major 2025. It is going to be a big pod. It's going to be a big few days. Joining me, as always, the trio, Boudakin, Farrenkothen, Merrick, and we are joined by a very special guest, Mr. Sam Clifford. Welcome, Sam.
Thank you for having me on, guys. Appreciate it. Let's go.
You are very welcome, mate. So for anyone who doesn't know, Sam, at just 23 years of age from Tassie, recently shattered the 10K national record with a time of 27:34, a performance that puts him well ahead of the previous mark. Sam's rise has been electric. Big half marathon results, I believe, on the Gold Coast and Launceston. Right? We'll obviously come to talk about this a bit. And a tactical win in the Harbour 10K, the Sydney 10K. What was that last month? Yeah. All four of you ran. I got content of all four of you. That was a preview reel today, all straight off my phone. I was running around with a bung left calf. Might be why I got injured a little bit recently. But there you go. So all of that, we've heard you speak on previous pods, but obviously in a burgeoning career at the start. But yeah, we're really excited to have you today, 48 hours before your debut marathon here in Sydney.
Huge. Yeah, it's exciting. Like you said, you've got just under 48 hours to go, and I mean, for me, the carb load's that's starting now, and that's all a new experience to me. And the week so far has been fantastic. I've been very welcomed to the experience and the opportunity to run the marathon on my new live city. So looking forward to it.
I love it. And when you got in here, we weren't quite ready to roll, but you were like, no worries. Do you mind if I just have a nap? And it's chaos here in the office at the moment. And I was like, oh, where am I going to put you? We've got one couch. And then I was like, oh, beanbags, storeroom. Yeah. Just chucked a couple of beanbags. What, you got 10, 15 minutes?
Yeah, about 10 minutes.
Or you just like
good quality.
Accumulate
over quantity.
Accumulate everywhere you can get it. It's like just chip away at it.
Genuinely.
Love it.
Cam was like, oh, would love that, right?
Yeah, just go out for 10 minutes. Yeah, perfect stuff. But yeah, it's great.
To go back to the intro, you mentioned a big chop on the previous 10K record. What was that? We were just trying to look at it before.
The original record?
The one that
because it was the road record, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the road record.
So Jack Rayner ran the record at the Burnie 10 2 years prior to me winning that event. Ran 27:42, I think.
So you chopped
8 seconds or something?
8 or 9 seconds, something like that. And
nice.
Huge.
Yeah,
at Burnie 10?
Still, at Burnie 10. It's hard to know because with Burnie, Jack was, you still got to run the time, right? But in that particular race, Jack was pretty much solo majority of the way. And I was very fortunate that I'd had a new set of meta speeds to wear, and great competition around me. So I do take it with a bit of grain of salt. But again, I have to run the time in order to, do as well as I've done. So,
that Tokyo race seemed like just
perfect conditions.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Obviously, because
huge was
it Bat Doyle one said the 10K as well.
Yeah.
In the same one, like ASIC's cheering at that, loving that. But
it's a good day for ASIC. So just for even from like an Australian perspective, I think it was pretty much every athlete bar like 2 athletes had like either PB'd or got some sort of record. It's
amazing.
Crazy to see the depth in Australian distance running, 1 and 2, the how well we perform on that sort of stage.
Yeah, interesting. The Burnie 10, I think it's funny you see that just pop up over the years as like a real landmark 10K in Australia, and there's not that many. You got the Harbour 10. It's probably not the best course for an all-out 10K, but it's funny how Tassie's got Burnie 10. They've also got Launceston, which now they're pumping resources into. And
is it just the half at Lonnie?
Launceston was 10 as well, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, originally it used to be the 10K was the main staple race, but now over the years since they've had the World Athletics label, which basically means that they get a higher ranking for us when it comes to selection for teams and all that sort of stuff, but also brings a lot of international competition down. So that's for the half marathon. I'd like to see the 10K still be, I guess, another like a favoured reason as to why people will go down to Lonnie, because it's still a fast enough course. Like still, I ran 27:50 on the roads out there, and it's still a formidable time on those roads. And Probably one of the quicker times I've seen at Lonnie. Like, it's usually used to the 28 lows, maybe 28 high, but see Stu run under 28 and do that solo as well was pretty incredible.
Yeah, well, that was his kind of like comeback, wasn't it? He'd kind of been out for a little bit and had come back to that. But yeah, that half marathon field I remember talking about it on the pod was just completely stacked. Like, there was just top end Oz talent all the way through. Some Japanese guys coming down, like, obviously backed it up then at Gold Coast, a similar sort of field and people. But yeah, I think the more you can get these sort of new, like, obviously Launceston's been going for a bit as well, but getting something different, a different sort of destination race around Australia for a top end athletics event is unreal.
What time of year is Lonnie?
So this next edition's on the 31st of May of 2026. So yeah,
Love it.
yeah.
To give it a rip post Boston.
It's getting even faster too. We
Yeah.
thought this year's course was fast, but they're trying to change a few things with the start line this time around. So it takes out the hitch turn. There's like a hitch turn with like a couple of 100 meters to go, and they're so close to breaking the all-comers record, Australian all-comers record, that's where they think the second or two was lost.
Yeah.
And so they're changing the start line to get rid of that completely, but also it takes out the long hill that's at about 15, 16K mark and bringing that even further back towards the city. So, so like it's looking all promising, and it might be something even quicker than 61, I reckon, if we get the right field.
Jeez.
Yeah.
It's a hot time.
Yeah.
So as like a Tassie boy, are you involved in like that, like obviously talking about the course and next year and stuff like that? Do they get you involved in how you can make changes and how we can make it faster, and how do we get the right people involved and things like that?
Yeah, I think I haven't probably personally been involved in the course conversations, but I do listen and I do take stuff on board, and I think that goes out to the guys at Epic Events and Richard Wells for putting on and listening to the feedback of the elites, and two, and also listening to the feedback from the community, because in Tasmania those events really shape the running community is one, but also it's not overwhelming for most runners on the start line, knowing that they're going to a good race and getting their money's worth. So.
Love it.
Can I ask you, you obviously grew up in Tasmania, but you recently moved to Sydney. What made you make the move? I'm guessing it was to do with your running career and wanting to take that a bit more seriously. Yeah. But yeah, maybe just share with us, but also obviously the listeners who maybe haven't heard much about your journey and obviously how that's gone for you, which by the sounds of it, it's going fairly well.
All right.
It's going very well and quickly.
Like what it is now, it's like obviously a very smart move in the end to move from Tassie, which at the time I was training with a few guys down there that were probably at what I thought were at the back end of their careers, or made that pretty clear to me at the time. And I sort of thought, if I'm going to be an okay runner, like I could stay in Tassie, but if I wanted to be great at what I did and wanted to really achieve something outside of Tasmania, I knew I had to move. And it was very hard to move up here, because at the time I was in and out of hotels. I was I'm always liked Sydney, and always like Sydney as the city. It had a lot of opportunity, and like my parents love Sydney as well, as much as I do, and so I was very much leaning towards that. I had a good training group as well at the time.
See, I'm from Melbourne. These are all from Sydney. I'm originally from Melbourne. I know you love your AFL, right? Never thought of Melbourne? Didn't.
Nah, not initially. Nah, not at all. At that point, I sort of thought Sydney was a bit more welcoming in the running scene. I'm not saying Melbourne isn't welcoming, but it was. I felt there was a bit more. It was a bit more cliquey in a way. Whereas Sydney, I've been very fortunate to be in a lot of different running groups and feel very welcome, and then it's reciprocated back to me. And
that's awesome.
So and then I'm try and make people feel welcome, and so
that is awesome.
Just try to give back. So that's the way I look at it. I mean, I could have probably done it anywhere, but it's more that Sydney was very organic in the way that they were very supportive. So
love that.
Love it. So I guess this weekend, coming back to Sydney, first one, obviously experience across the board, 10Ks, big races, half marathons. What's the biggest difference you think with the marathon? Obviously, it's a much bigger, more deliberate build, but who have you sort of bounced ideas off, coaching wise, experience, fellow athletes in terms of that this final 2 weeks? You're saying you're doing a carb load really for the first time and other things like that. What's that step up from 10K half to full marathon been like?
Yeah, it's pretty much been more of the same from a running standpoint. It's pretty much, like the volume of intensity is what really stuck out to me. I could get away with running as fast as I can for, up to about 30 minutes worth of work, maybe 45 minutes worth. And, marathons, it's almost then turns into a mental training than it does physical, because you're going for a longer period of time. You play little games with your mind to keep you in it. And that's what it's going to be like out on race day. And, not to say that you don't do that in the other races, but the I guess, duration of your mental or your percentage of mental energy is more amplified in the marathon training as well as racing. So, anything to, keep your mind strong. The other thing is too with, it's all the other little things, the, making sure my sleep is, really dialed in, nutrition, the fluids, getting a lot of strength work in, a lot of treatment as well. That's another thing that's also increased over the last few months, so from training with the marathon.
Have you found a good kind of treatment strength network in Sydney?
So I train with the 4D Performance guys, and
cool.
they give me strength and conditioning program there. I get treatment as well. They've been really, really good.
Awesome.
Really quality partnership there. So
awesome.
It's been good.
Yeah,
in
great.
terms of the big jump from 10K to marathon, and obviously the half marathon in between, what kind of made you click and go, I want to give it a go? And when did the process kind of start in terms of okay, I've made that decision, we're going to start a big block now, and then we'll work from there?
It's very interesting. So I've been planning this for a little while. It was Sydney Marathon was a secondary goal if I was trying to qualify for World Champs in the 10K. I'd made a pretty good case of it in Tokyo. I wanted to go and get another race in the US to run very close to the 10K standard as possible, with also ranking points and all that sort of thing. I thought I wouldn't be quite there at the standard, but I'd be close to making in on quota, which was the top 27 at the time, and I think I was in about 40th. So I had an attempt at a race over in the US, and that didn't go well at all. Probably one of the worst races I've had, and which is disappointing in a sense, but also I knew in the back of my mind, I was like, if this 10K doesn't work out, Sydney is probably a realistic goal moving forward. It's a clean slate, I can start fresh, and so all of that sort of started pretty early. And then I think it also helped bolstered the fact that we've got the Australian prize money side of it as well, which is good for our sport.
It's a pretty good carrot dangle.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's very, very, very good tease. But they've, but that's what I think, Athletes Australia and the organisers of Sydney Marathon have done a really good job in getting a good quality field on the Australian side. There's 4 or 5 of us now that are actually probably good enough to contend for a win here. So it's whereas in years gone by, it's probably been a little bit of a, I guess, not as, I wouldn't say weak, that's probably not the right word, just not as
one-sided maybe.
Yeah, just
a bit more local legend sort of stuff.
Yeah. But like you said in Tokyo,
it's an underbelly championship in a way.
Yeah.
It didn't, I don't think being an Australian marathon champion had as much, I guess, weight as it does in this circumstance.
Yeah.
So, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd love if you could share that race in the US that went poorly, what you learnt from that, why you think it went poorly, and when was it? Because I haven't actually heard you talk about it.
So this was late May. I can't remember exact dates, but it was late May. Originally, I was meant to run at the sound running, one of the sound running meets in LA, and they cancelled the 10K, and so that was probably already one sort of little factors played into it, but that was probably one of the key ones. I thought that was kind of like my opportunity to run really well. They've again, felt like a bit like carpet under, you've been, the rug's being thrown underneath you. And so I had to find another race. Found this one in Portland, Oregon, which was the Portland Track Fest. Ran that, and it was kind of strange. The organisers so at the time, everything was very late to getting organised. And so I asked the pace because I was one of the top seeds. I was like, we try and go for 27:20 pace or whatever it was, or like 27:30 or something. And they'd already had like paces for I think it was like for the US standard, which was like for the championships at 27:50 or something, which was not like, I was sort of looking at like what points I needed for that race as well, because it was a bronze level meet, which means if you place in a certain bracket but also run a really fast time, it boosts your world ranking, which would have helped my cause for making world champs. But I think it was just down to inexperience of the travel to the US, and how I think I've definitely had the jet lag for a lot longer than I thought. I didn't probably get right until the day before the race, where I actually felt good, but by then it was probably too late. Damage was already done, and had I done my time again, I would have stayed extra, probably 3 or 4 nights, just to be really sure I can get over it, and then attack it a little bit better. I ran 29 something there, but but I was pretty much on the pace lights that they give me. So they end up with 27:20 pace, but they couldn't give me a pacer, so I had to basically go solo if I wanted to go and chase this time. And I don't know, it's just sort of like, it felt like a really like extension of like an interclub meet. Like it was kind of like you just rock up the start line 5 minutes before, and I thought being like a US meet, it'd be a bit more structured.
Yeah, interesting.
Like sometimes the US are serious, but they're also sometimes like, pretty
Fast and
relaxed.
loose.
Yeah, and so it was like 5 minutes before. You just had to be like corralled at the start line like a couple of minutes before the race. And the other classic was that I was on the start line, but what they did was, usually in Australia we have the double lines.
Yeah.
They didn't have that at this track, so they would put you staggered, whatever your bib number was, 1 through to say like 17 or 18. Was on the front line, the rest all had to go to the back, and I was like 20 something, so I was on the basically behind. It was like a mass start, and I was top seed, and there was the second top seed was with me on the second line, so I'm like, that's great.
Stitch up.
It's like sitting in a surf, having to wade through.
Yeah, it was like that, but it was like, and this is like a proper like, US track meet.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's like, I just thought, when I've had that, I was like, this is going to be pretty rough.
This will be interesting.
That first 100 meters, I reckon, was like 14 seconds, because I had to go in lane 5.
And you've run
so
150.
So I probably run like 150 in like 14 seconds. So
That's crazy.
To get onto the pace lights and then run solo for like 4 or 5 laps, and then I'm just like, nah.
Not happening,
Yeah. I kept running. I seriously had thought about dropping out, and I like seeing because my parents came over for the race as well, and so I'm just like, I think it was like at the 200 meter mark, my dad was there, but I'm just going like, I'm just getting the hand signals out like, nah, like
not feeling it.
This is not good, Dad. Like I don't. And he's like, keep going, you're doing well. Food 5K was all right. I still went through 14 flat, but I was just like, but obviously I've tried to run 30 pace before that for like 5 or 6 laps and on my own, and it's a lot harder mentally in a 10K to see that lap counter real early. If you're looking at it real early, it's you're pretty fucked.
You won that race, right? You won that race?
No, we're near it. No.
Okay.
I was way out the arse. Way out the arse in this one. So I pretty much jogged it in from about 6K.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right.
So just that lead pack.
Finished with 29, hey?
Finished with 29. So pretty much it was like 14 flat with a jog recovery.
a 15K back.
Yeah, that's crazy.
15-minute jog.
Interesting. Yeah, I feel like though, you notice that we were talking about pacing on the weekend. Like for context, I'm pacing Rien on Sunday, and I just feel, you probably have this as well in your training in the marathon block. You can have your people you train with, but obviously just to get the volume in, you're gonna have to do a lot of it by yourself, and there's a different level of like mental discipline and effort that just has to go into keeping yourself on pace when you're by yourself. And then being able to have someone, even if it's just like you said, to keep your mind off the lap counter, you can kind of zone out and just stick on their shoulder or something like that.
Yeah.
That makes such a big difference. So that would just be brutal
exactly.
to be sitting out there trying to chase a light around.
Yeah, that was pretty much what it was. And, you know, the more you see, it's energy that you're wasting on looking at other things you shouldn't, or focusing on other things. And it's very hard when it's like right there every time you go around every 400. The clock is there every time you go around every 400. Whereas on the roads, I'd probably don't even look. There's like no like lap split. Like there's no like K split. It'll just be like, whatever comes up on the watch, right? So that factor of seeing it and recognizing it doesn't play a factor out on the road until you get to the finish line and you see the time.
Do you prefer the road over the track for the 10K?
In this scenario, and most scenarios, yes, because it's less thinking. I think on the road you just go straight out, either straight out and back or a loop or whatever it is. Just makes it all it is. Track's a lot more mental, and if you get it wrong, you get it wrong. But if you get it right, you run fast. So it's, whereas on the road, you can kind of have I'm not saying mediocre day, but you can definitely have like a day where you get a pass mark.
The margins are thinner on the track.
Yeah, the margins are it's a big discrepancy.
Yeah,
interesting.
And I'm not the only one that has shockers on the track over the 10K. As to compare with the road. So
interesting.
It's interesting. So
A quick message from our sponsor, Aid Station. They say that the first discipline is nutrition, and completely agree. Whether you're going out for a long run or a tempo session, speed session, or just in general going for a run, you should be fueling well. And Aid Station stock so many brilliant brands, all in one easy and convenient place. So check out aidstation.com.au. Use the code NEVERRUNALONE. Just spell out what the podcast title is. Hopefully you get it right, and you'll get a nice little discount. So thank you to Aid Station. Thank you to the team there, Jimmy, Metz, and everyone. We appreciate it. Appreciate you listening as well. And obviously, if you use that code, you're not only supporting the podcast, but you're supporting yourself and your body going out and pushing all of your efforts. So yeah, get after it. Love it. I mean, we've got one question here. Tuna Sandwich, also known as James Nemec. He wanted to know, I guess, strategy coming in to the marathon. It's obviously a distance you haven't run before, raced. I think we saw a training run from you popped up on your Instagram feed.
Couple.
Was it 45
50K?
Ks?
A light 50?
45 and a light 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously run that distance. I mean, keen to sort of unpack those moments, but he wants to know, I guess, what your pacing strategy is, say for the rolling hills, where you're planning to sit, where you're planning to drive. I guess, first time running with Kipchoge, maybe you want to stay with him for as long as possible.
This will also be out tomorrow, so if you want to keep that under wraps.
That's totally fine.
I think for sake of for within close proximity to the race, I think I'll keep it close to chest. But what I will say is I do want to go out and enjoy it, and really make the most of it. I'm not going to run my debut again, so
exactly.
I feel for me, the first 30K, if I'm running with someone or a group of people, that's probably ideal. This, again, similar thing, kind of like the track. If you're running on your own, even in the marathon, if you're running on your own for a majority of it, it's a long way to go on your own. And it's so, I can only warrant it if it's with the last 12K, fair enough if you're going to try and break away or whatever. That's completely fine. But in those first 5 or 10K, that's... it's going to be hard work.
You don't want to be on your own for that.
Unless the field's gone screaming out at a pace that but you just don't. With the East African cohort, they've come down. A lot of them are all around the 205, 206 mark, and some of them could be, I guess, decoys as I call it, where they will just try and rinse you early and get most of the field off your back.
Interesting.
I don't know whether that will happen. It'd be interesting to see. I've got technical meeting tomorrow with the...
I was going to say,
for the race, so it'll be interesting to see what pace they throw up.
I was going to ask. But because I know obviously we were talking yesterday with Roberto, who was talking about how for those races they'll have the meeting with who's pacing what. Do you know if they've got multiple elite paces, or is it set throughout, or is it just the lead group going out at this pace.
Sounds like it's lead group, but also I had a conversation the other day. There might be a secondary group, but I don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know until you get there, because it's kind of like the technical meetings kind of almost feel like a silent auction in a way. Like
Yeah.
they're kind of like it'll go to one pace, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll set it to this, and then there'll be someone that will like go to like the one of the directors and go, oh, we want faster, and then it just keeps like trickling down, or like a bit of bartering, and the pacers are like also got to agree to it too. So
They've
there's
got to
like,
run the thing.
Yeah, like, wait, we didn't sign up for this.
yeah,
I
and,
can't
like,
go that fast.
yeah. For some of them, like I think the pace will be honest, but it's just to make it so that there's a time that's respectable for that course for a world major. What
Totally.
the time is, I don't know.
Yeah,
Don't
interesting.
know. I reckon it'd be about as a guess, probably 2:05 sort of mark.
Okay,
Yeah.
we all guessed yesterday. I
Yeah.
wonder how close
Yeah.
we were. That's basically what I
2:05.
guess. Yeah.
All comers records 2:06
Yeah,
on
that's what I
Australian
figured.
soil. So I reckon maybe they're
Yeah.
skewing towards that to get
Yeah.
a second a K
Yeah.
under
Yeah.
that. And
Also, I'll just caveat, if there is any stuff that you feel like sharing but don't want to go live before the race, I'm happy to cut that, because we will put this out. But
Yeah.
I'm
I
sure.
was happy with all. What I
Yeah.
said.
But anything
Yeah,
moving
yeah,
forward
it's
as well.
fine.
Definitely
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
want to blow any
Yeah.
race plans or
Yeah.
prep, because I feel like we think, I know certainly you, Kris, feel like you can take out that first place Aussie at the weekend. I don't know if you want to talk to that. It's obviously putting some pressure on you, but at this elite level, I'm sure you put the pressure on yourself. I've had a great opportunity in the past few weeks to have a few chats with Andy Buchanan. He was actually the other guest we were hoping to get on today as well, but he did a podcast earlier, so he didn't want to double up. But he's someone who embraces that pressure.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's currently got the record, 2:06.22. I doubt that's going to go for an Aussie at the weekend. But how do you embrace that pressure, and how do you think you can go?
Like I said, I just want to enjoy the run, and time will. I think it's kind of a hard one. Sydney's not one of those courses that you probably look at time. It's more you go to effort, and the time will be what it's meant to be. But I think it will be more for me, as a goal wise, like placing would like as high as I possibly can and be competitive as I can. Even from an Australian perspective, I think I know who the big four are. Which is Brett Robertson, Tom DeCano, Haftus Drinsos are probably the three that I need to be really taking a close eye on. But again, I shouldn't have to feel like there's a race within a race. Like I want to just go out and run,
Awesome.
to who's there.
Yeah.
And if say we all staggered across the road, like just so be it. So long as we know we all had a crack and had a good go at it.
Yeah.
There'll be some that would just be going just for the Australian part, but I think I think it's also may become a limiting factor because it's I'm so caught up in the Australian race when I could have been
For sure.
higher up in the overall standings and
And you don't want to get caught up wasting energy on thinking about other people and what they're doing all the time and what pace there is, and like you've got your own race and your own plan, and you just got to stick to that at the end of the day and focus all of your energy on that.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the marathon though, isn't it? Like you sort of got to stay
You got
within
42
yourself.
Ks to do that.
Yeah, you got 42 Ks of thoughts and feelings to go through, and everyone's going through something or some sort of patch.
Yeah.
So,
You had a few practice runs though, 45k and a 50k.
yeah.
A few loose thoughts going on there, or
Yeah. So 45, I think I did was like a sort of simulation of the course. Like I sort of went around Senny Park and Miss McCorry's chair, did all that sort of at similar like equivalent time stamps to how I'm going to run Sydney. And then the 50k, I was lucky. I was nearly going to go on my own for that one. Again, I was solo for the 45, but for the 50, I'm pretty sure that day it was like pissing down with rain. I'm very lucky I had my mate Joe Burgess running with me for 32k for his long run, and then I just went on the last 18, so it was like another hour and a half. So ended up getting just under 4 hours for that 50k, but it felt fine.
Big day.
wow,
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
Can I ask why 50? Like, you've obviously
not?
coached. Why not? fair play, man.
Nice even number.
I race for 2 hours, right? The same thing for the 10k, for any distance. Most of the time, the long run is that much further than your race distance. And so, and for the marathon, for me, it's as simple as, how much can I endure? And usually that means by time on feet, right? And same with cyclists, like they go, 4 or 5 hours, that sort of stuff. And I thought, it's still over distance training, not by much, like relatively speaking. If I was to say like a 1500 guy and did like a 20k long run, that's like, a certain amount over their race distance. Whereas for the marathon, it's a bit like, again, it's kind of like, you're obviously doing a lot of this volume of intensity work, but you also got to be sensible in keeping it to that range where it's not ridiculous. I think 50 for a marathon is probably well and truly enough, but for someone like me who's run for years, it's it shouldn't be all that hard if you haven't run it too fast. If you've gone too hard in the long run, that's where problems, even if it's like 15 seconds a K faster, especially for that long, because your body breaks down over that time.
Yeah,
interesting. Being, I guess, being your home marathon, have you got, and your debut, have you got a bunch of people coming out from Tassie to support, and obviously you got local friends and stuff as well out in the course? Yeah. Have you got tactically, you go there, I need a little pick me up along the whole course? Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. So my training groups all doing their long run Sunday out on the course, so they'll try and get pot around the course where they can, and I've also got my dad coming up from Tassie, so he's already here. I had a dinner with him last night, so that was nice. And so he's going to be out towards Piermont way early, which, to be fair, I expected him to be in more of a quiet spot of the marathon. I'm not sure how quiet it's going to be this year, but he's sort of done his homework a bit. He's pretty clever with where he needs to be in the race, and so he's awesome. Stands out. And I think in that part of the race too, it's net downhill. It's going to be hot, chaotic. I reckon it'll be a very chaotic start for the first 5k, and then it will settle down after that. And so if I see Dad, it's like, well, I've got, I'm through 5k, so that's all right.
I've made it this far.
I made it this far, but it's a good reminder to just sort of stay composed and that sort of thing. I've also got some mates coming up from Tassie that are actually racing City Marathon as well. They've had the opportunity given to them. A lot of them were the transfer of the bib. Well, not that you can't transfer, but that sort of thing. So they got an entry by that. And one of them was nearly not going to do it, but I said, look, he's running well enough where it's like, look, you can get away with doing this one as a just enjoy it, because it's the first time it's going to be a major. It's like I said to him before, and I just got off a call with him as well, and he said, I would have been kicking myself if I didn't do Sydney. As my first one, because the opportunity to and I guess when the opportunity was there for him, if he didn't have taken it, would have been, just very, not upset, but would have definitely been like, oh man, I should have done that.
What could have been?
You're going to be part of history, right?
There's only one first time for it, so
it's so kudos to him to getting here and getting on the start line. He's going to be at the shakeout run tomorrow, so
nice.
Love it.
So they'd be ringing you left, right, and centre,
Yeah.
For advice, any question.
Have you found yourself coaching your mates?
Yeah,
for free.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So I'll just give him advice.
Nice.
And the same thing with the gel situation. He was asking me about something about the gels, and I gave him an answer. And so I know, it's good to help out my mates in that way, but also even just anyone that asks a question, I'm happy to answer it if it's if it's to help you in any way. It's it's not a running's a good sport like that where we you can just bounce ideas off each other. And even for me, someone could that's runs a lot slower than me could say something that I might have forgotten as a general fundamental or something, and I remember doing.
I mean, it's your first time
listening to things
It's your first time doing a marathon, right?
There
is. I mean, you're in an environment where you're surrounded by so many people who have done marathons, and you've got access to the information. But there's nothing like the actual experience of running a marathon to learn about the marathon, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, having people that you say, as you say, are slower, drop a little tidbit here and there. You're like, oh yeah, I wouldn't have thought of that. Or
Yeah, or like just or reaffirms something, or
Totally.
it brings light to something that you may have completely forgotten about. You know, and there's plenty of times that's happened to that, but
Yeah.
you obviously need to listen to that if it's constructive, and you know, and it thinks it's, you know, you like I said, you need to take. Some people will probably dismiss it if it's, you know, it's like, oh, what are you talking about? Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes they say something that's like, you know, very not direct, but they say something about their training. I'm like, oh yeah, like I remember doing that years ago, and I know I haven't been doing that. Something. Oh, and just chuck it in, just like, oh, let's give it a try. You know, if it does, you know, what doesn't kill makes you stronger, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
Is that, you know?
Yeah.
Has there been
Like, that's the way I look at it.
in
so.
your block? Has there been things that you have tried for the first time, or has it been a pretty tried and tested block?
Tried a lot more running slow, which I absolutely hate.
I think everyone does.
Being like put to a pace that's not, I guess, an immediate training or race zone. So for me, that's been a lot of time at around that sort of 3:15, 3:20 sort of mark for a lot of my Tuesday sessions, especially in the morning. That's the only time when it's warranted I can run that slow, because it's, you know, early wake up and all that sort of thing to go and rinse yourself. But yeah, it's those sort of sessions. Josh Phillips actually gave me the idea. He was sort of saying like, oh, you know, if you build up, because I've been having problems with the stitch in my half marathons, and I was sort of like, oh look, I feel like I'm probably not conditioned enough for the half marathon. But what had happened was I was really like good over the shorter stuff and faster, but I didn't do anything, like the floor was too big a gap. So it was literally just like really fast work and really slow running, or scuffing as I call it. That but there's nothing in the middle to you know, warrant me running faster or making it feel like my body is accepting the training intensity. And so it's a bit different with this block. I've introduced that, and the effort comes, like the pace comes down as the effort stays the same. So it's which is what you want. And yeah, just, you know, very grateful I listened to it, and and I do get some tips from Dan Breen as well. So he's been he also coaches Josh, but Dan over the last couple of weeks has been really, really good in terms of the taper, and he lights up when I say something that is pretty much in the same vein of thought, which is really good. So I mentioned something about the frequency of easy runs that I'm doing this week leading up into the race, and I said, oh, I'm going to keep this, and it sort of like lights up, because he knows that he said it a week ago, but he knows that I'm listening and actually taking the advice on board. And so it's reassurance that that I'm doing what I'm supposed to.
So you've spent most of this block uncoached, right? Like, or you've been coaching it yourself. Is a coach something that you like to go back into the marathon after this? You'll tap into, or
it's a hard one. I think,
see how you go on Sunday and then make the decision.
Look, I don't think I'll be running the marathon for a while, but
I was going to ask. I'd seen you'd mention that.
Because like the only way I could possibly go back to the marathon if it depends on making an Australian team, like even if it's like a Com Games or something. But then again, the Com Games is going to be like a half marathon or something now. They're changing it.
I don't think they have a marathon for the Com Games,
which
next
is
year.
it's a bit of a shame, because it's it takes the I guess, I mean, it's it's whatever the I guess the general population, the general punter is wanting to watch, and they're not really going to watch 10 people in the marathon at Com Games. They want to watch something a bit more entertaining, and it's less cost for those nations that have hosted. So I think it's in Scotland again this year. But they were also they were the top candidate after Victoria pulled the pin. So
That's why you didn't move to Victoria after all. There's the reason.
Interesting.
You're talking about the sort of the big four at the weekend, but looking to marathon runners, or even just not necessarily marathon runners, but runners in general.
Yep.
Who's been some of those that you've looked up to, whether Australian or otherwise, of your journey so far?
My journey, yep. Main key one for me is probably James Hansen. I think the resilience that he's shown over so many different facets of his life outside of running, I think for me has set a really high example. And his work ethic too is very of high quality. And so I think I got a lot of those benefits from my training philosophy and I guess toughness from seeing James run really well. And being Tasmanian, he's actually my cousin.
Fellow Tassie,
he's
right?
my cousin as well, so it's
there you go.
ironically, so being Tasmanian and also
there you go.
yeah, so it's all we all know each other too well, but but yeah, so that's been really really good to have him when I was training in Tasmania. At the time too, James was also thinking almost about retiring, and then he's got a second lease of life with his training, and then his beautiful daughter Goldie. He's probably I think a month or two old now, so he's doing really well, and he's gone through a lot of challenging times, but he's found a way, even with his faith as well, to just still keep going and pushing on and having a growth mindset, which is something I've really looked into over the last couple of weeks, is being able to look at opportunities like Sydney and could be going into that race going, why not? And having the mentality like, oh, this is a good opportunity, this is great experience. I'm not really looking at a metric that's either placing or time, and it's just for more the mental side of it as well. Like, as much as I talk about I want to place this position, I want to run this time, that's all at a certain point out of my control. It's what I can control within is the main thing. And so James has been a great example of that.
That's awesome, mate.
Love it.
Good stuff.
Interesting. I feel like that Sydney, like you talk about how you might not do a marathon for a while. Do you see yourself, I know it's all going on at the moment with the build up to Tokyo in a couple of weeks, do you see yourself doing a big sort of Europe block, Diamond League, altitude next year sort of thing potentially? Yeah,
I think it's on the cards. It's one of those I've already had looked at sorting out my season. And there's plenty of opportunity this year to go into Australian singlet where I see fit. And I think the main three for me are World Cross Country, the World Road Running Championships in September,
in
just
Copenhagen,
a week, in Copenhagen. And then the third one was Com Games. So those three competitions are good opportunities for me to be in an Australian singlet. I feel like I'm probably more comfortable with the roads, just especially with my ranking on the road for road running as well out of the Australian cohort. It is getting harder because you've got guys like Andy Buchanan running really well, Isaac Hayne, Brett Robertson's also in that conversation as well, running a couple of good halves. Run well at Lonnie, obviously running this marathon now. So for me, I just got to find, just be within that. I think it's top 2 or 3 they take for world roads, which is up. And then again, the distances I think is still 1 mile, 5K, half marathon. So if I was going to pick an event, I'd have to do the half to qualify as under the road running. If they had a 10K on the roads, that'd be awesome, or like something in the middle. Like I wouldn't mind if they had like a middle ground where they have like a 15K or something on the roads, just to change it up a bit.
Interesting.
But I don't know, it's traditionally used to be the half marathon world championships, but now they've made it a bit more inclusive for those runners that of the shorter end, which is good for the sport, I think.
Have you spent much time at the shorter end?
So I was very fortunate to make the field for Maury Plant in the 5K and ran 13:25 there. So I had a pretty good run, and based off the back of that, I knew I was going to run all right over a 10. And fortunately enough, that was Tokyo. But that was sort of a surprise for me because I didn't think that's 5K is such a hard event. Again, it's very, very brutal. It's almost like the 5K is like the half marathon is to the marathon. It's just that little bit of higher intensity that's almost putting you at the brink. And the 5K for me, like I was surprised I was able to go through those like low 240s and feel all right. So just again, similar, like a big field, big occasion. I've run pretty well, and same with Tokyo. Again, I think I ended up running like 6th overall there. I was like, I think maybe like third or fourth Aussie in the at Merrick plant. So, you know, I was going to go on to run nationals that particular year, and just
in the 5.
In the 5, but the Tokyo offer came up earlier, and so I was like, well, I'm going to just
can't say no to that, really.
And, and again, that's another decision that I made that was a good choice.
Why not?
A wise choice. And I think the race, the way it race panned out too, at nationals, it was a slow race. So I wanted to go there to run a time, and most of the time that never happens at a national championship. But on this occasion, they run 13:50 or something with the last, very fast last mile, which happened the year prior, which I was in the final for in Adelaide. But just again, that's one of those things that I need to work on over the next 12 months is that closing speed, because I've got the strength there. It's just I need to be able to run sort of in and around those times. And I know you mentioned Harbour 10 as a sit and kick, and that was sort of a similar training, I guess, metric I wanted to test, or at least training effect I wanted to test. It was that really hard kick off the line, just go, not giving a shit, really. Just going. You're going to have to run hard for this amount of time if you're going to...
What's half an hour?
Exactly. Exactly. So, but it's been good. So, that's the way it is now. You've got to run, nearly close to a 350 mile in order to be anywhere up there in these shorter races, right? Like most of the guys are all 1500 guys in the 5, and me being a 10k guy with a 344 1500, like it's not quick enough at all. Like I'd be lucky to even make it out of the top 6 in the heats now. And that once used to make a final. So
will you throw your hat for Zatopek this year?
Yeah. So Zatopek again would be another qualifying meet for Com Games, I'd imagine. So that'll be good. But I'm sort of...
Have you run Zatopek before?
Yeah. Got second at Zatopek.
Yeah.
It was last year.
Looks like such an incredible event.
Yeah. It was that was a good race for me from a result standpoint. Like I wanted to run top 3, so I could, again, basically I was all trying to lead towards running really fast for Tokyo in September. But
it was Jack that took that one out as well.
Good.
Alrighty, quick insert here to all of you watching on YouTube. Thank you so much. I hope you're enjoying this episode. But if you're not already, could you please subscribe? And we'd love you to leave a comment. And most importantly, share it with a friend, someone you think needs to listen to the thoughts of whatever's going on in this episode. Hopefully it's of value to you if you're listening thus far. I'm sure it has been. And thank you for doing so. Also, give us a follow on the Instagram. We're also available audio only, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of that. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you in another episode. And I hope you enjoy the rest of this one. All the best.
You mentioned a lot of events within like the previous year and the next year coming up. Do you sit down and figure out what you want to do? I know from like an amateur perspective, you kind of look at the year and go, I want to do this race and I want to do this race, and they're kind of 6 months apart or they're 3 months apart, and it works.
And one's always Gold Coast as well.
Yeah. Do you sit down with people? Do you work with like any externals to kind of figure out your strength plan, your nutrition around, certain blocks, or is it just to go for it and hope for the best?
On nutrition, I eat pretty well, so I don't have a problem with that. But it's more where, like, what I have, when I have it, that sort of stuff. For me, this year's going to be interesting, particularly if I, again, have another good result here in the marathon. It doesn't have to be spectacular, but it's got to, has some sort of credibility behind it, and that'll sort of shape the next 12 months as well. I think it will give me a platform where I can go and do the running full-time, because I'm technically not a full-time runner. I'm still working part-time at like a grocery shop just to have my upkeep here in Sydney. So for me, I've had time to myself. Like particularly this week, I've made a whole list of training objectives in different training areas. How frequent do I want, say, strength and conditioning? How frequent do I want physio? How frequent do I want to do some, technical stuff with my technique and that sort of stuff? Like things that I haven't implemented for a long time that I need to go back to, because those things, those fundamentals I've lost and haven't had the time for, because it's been pulled in other directions. And so I like to get that all back where I can. And, that's going to put me in a spot where I'm really competitive, not just in Australia, but like from a world perspective. And then to go to that, from that world level to being, very competitive in that, so it's just all time that I want to invest into the running, so that I'm ready to go. So to answer your question, have I put a plan in place? Absolutely, and it's for the next basically 12 months.
Yeah, interesting. I imagine you came out of, I don't know the exact time when you signed with ASICS, but you would have come out of Burnie, and then you land that with ASICS, and then you get the national record at Tokyo. I imagine that opened a whole lot of new doors for you from that, and similarly, touch wood, everything goes great on the weekend.
Yeah,
like you said, that probably catapults you into some new conversations that you can have around races for next year. How did you find that Tokyo experience post that, a bit of attention onto you, and then what the next year sort of is?
It was pretty crazy. Again, similar thing with Tokyo. I didn't really want to put a time on it. I know I was running really well. Same thing with this Sydney marathon. I've been running pretty well. I know I'm fit. It's just getting out there on the day, and really enjoying the atmosphere and the occasion of it. And the same thing happened in Tokyo. For me, I think there was a lot more. Like, I don't think even ASICS expected probably how quickly I'd gone from being just an all right runner to all of a sudden running national records, being in the top 2 or 3 in every single road race that I went in, and it's like, and that's at the bare minimum now. It's like that's the standards have lifted, and so and that's the expectation, and probably I guess pressure going back to that's probably the pressure on myself that I have to put on. But in a sense, that's just again that raising of the floor for me was crucial. But it always takes one performance to change your level of thinking. There's always those little performances where you're always very, very close to running a good time, or you're maybe a second off your PB, and you do that over a couple of times and you think, you're not going to quite get there, and most people will pull the pin on it and try something else, but and then you used to be surprised how if you say, I'll give it one more go, all of a sudden, bang, you've run a 20-30 second PB and a 5K, for instance, and all of a sudden you're thinking, you're off and away mentally. You're just thinking, it's different mindset altogether. You just need one good performance. But I think from an ASICS point of view, I think they weren't expecting me to run as well. Obviously they've given me the opportunity to run well, and so I've reciprocated that and tried to perform for them. And then
good scouting job by whoever picked you up. Saw the potential.
So it's been crazy the last 6 months as well. Even this marathon, it's it's my debut. And it's most people, it's just they go about the business, but this is it's a big, I'm not saying song and dance, but you know what I mean. It's very there's a lot of hype around it.
For sure. I think justifiably so, and exciting to be part of it, I'm sure.
Have you enjoyed the last 18 months for Australian running it's really lifted the amount of eyes that are on it. I guess we have all been a part of and seen just the boom at a grassroots level, but at the kind of pro level, seeing the more eyes on the events and more people coming down to the meets, and has that been amazing to be a part, to partake in?
Yeah, it's been fantastic reach, and that's all comes back to all that community sort of side of things, and I think we've got a really good thing going for the running, and I don't really think we can fuck this up. So let's keep it that way. And like we've got it to. It's gotten to a really good place now where the general punter understands running and the sport and the gap between the elite and the community side of things. I think in previous years it'd been a bit almost, if you were to go and do your running, you were, and try and do it properly, you were almost classed as a bit of a weirdo, or like, whereas now it's like, and for myself too, like I feel as though that, I'm able to connect with people that, it doesn't matter what pace you run, what background you come from, you're able to have a common interest and enjoy your running, and that's the main whole point about it, right? We all have a common interest and enjoy what we do.
Absolutely.
Love that. You're 23, right?
Yeah.
So 7 years, Brisbane, 2032. It will be 30, if my maths is correct, whether it's before or after. But that year, Olympics on home soil, if you could win a medal, gold, in any event, what would you target? The 10K?
Yeah, very, very good question. I actually think the marathon might be a better go.
Amazing.
I'll be a bit stronger. Obviously, have a bit of time off running the marathon, and respect that this one is a learning for pretty much 2032. So like moving forward, LA, I think I'd like to open up in the 10K, but I'm not opposed to other events.
Do the Sifan and medal 5K.
Yeah.
10K.
Don't limit yourself.
Yeah, but it's so hard to even get into like a 10K marathon double, and I think that's something that would be awesome to do. I think the only other person I can think that have done the 10K double, 10K Mara double might have been Steve Monaghetti, but that is from my recollection. It might be someone else before that, since then. But that's the only person I can think of that have done the 10K and the marathon double at a.
He did that in Sydney, did he?
And he also did that in Sydney. So
okay.
Did Dick Costello? I don't know him.
I'm not
maybe,
sure if
but he was just.
But this is, so I'm thinking post 2000.
Yeah.
So
sure.
before that,
Sure.
probably
Yeah.
like you'd have like Ron Clark and
It's a bit not as deep a fields as probably there is now, and
like it's
They're less specialists, I guess.
yeah,
Back
interesting.
in the day.
yeah, that's definitely specialised now, and I think with the program that the Olympics and World Championships has, you kind of have to skew one way or the other. It's very hard to do the double, but I think the only double that makes sense is the 10K Mara, because the Mara's usually after the 10K on the track, because the 10K is usually the first night, 9 times out of 10 for the men, and so you just get out of the way and done with, and then you've got 7 days of recovery before a marathon or whatever it is. So just
It's a big,
A nice little
big
I know
10K
most
taper.
I know most people would probably rather do it's like, oh, why wouldn't you want the longer one first? And I'd argue that it's obviously a marathon, like it's
it
way
takes you out of you
harder.
way
Yeah,
more.
10
It takes you out of you way more, especially if you're in those in like some extreme heat.
Yeah.
Just
you
the
know, you'll be-
recovery on that is.
And those Olympic ones are always, they're never the flat tack courses.
No.
They're always tactical.
Yeah.
Paris was especially hilly and
gives you
humid.
cross country vibes.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
Which is good though, because it hopefully brings the whole field together.
Yeah, absolutely.
It actually makes it more
Levels it out a bit,
spectator
yeah.
Bit of
friendly as
dimension
well.
to it.
So
I love it. We're
It's been
approaching 101 on the time. So what's that? Your half mara?
Yeah,
Time.
we're around
Yeah.
21.1.
Not to wrap it up
Perfect.
too soon, but obviously want to let you rest and get back to it. We've all got things as well. But yeah, really appreciated you coming in and sharing, I guess, that time that you're going for on the weekend, whatever it is. I know you mentioned it's more the focus of the mentality around it, but all the best, I think, from all of us. I don't know if anyone's got any final questions. I think we will do a bit of buy and sell.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, this
The
is
usual.
this is something that I didn't prep you for, but we can let you go last. But essentially, a segment we do at the end of every episode is what we call buy and sell, and essentially buy if it's something that you like, or sell something that you're maybe not liking in the world of. Doesn't have to necessarily be running, but it can
Something you
be
saw this
anything.
week, something that's
Something you
piqued your
saw.
interest, or
So yeah, one thing I also did want to mention, I had a bit of a mental blank there, but I love that you want gold. We're going to say gold in the marathon 2032. So we will clip this.
save it.
7-year
Early,
prediction because
You heard it here first.
we are doing more content, and we
Yeah.
have a reel at the moment previewing the race at the weekend. And what are we up to? Over 750 shares, probably 800 at this point.
Yeah, there's a lot of people
Um,
watching you. Yeah.
around the world.
Loving the Oz Elite Field and the
Yeah.
Yep.
the buzz around
We
it.
give you a
That's
good
been
plug
cool.
in there as well. So,
Love
appreciate
That's
the
awesome.
love on the socials. So, yeah, maybe we'll jump into a buy sell. Even though we did one yesterday, I don't know how people
I
are
was
feeling.
thinking,
I have a new one.
Chris has a new
Please
one.
lead us off.
Foot exercises.
There we go. And you're buying them, I'm guessing.
I am buying foot
As someone with
exercises.
a
As
stress
someone
fracture.
with a stress fracture in their ankle, foot exercises. I have massively high arches, and so if my feet are not strong, it is a bad time for me.
Well, interestingly,
So,
that was where I had
like-
my pain last night. First time back doing a speed session in 3
Very
weeks. Was
nice.
right,
Yeah.
right foot.
And also, it's pretty horrifying, but sitting, holding your foot like it's a hand,
Oh my gosh.
spread them toes out.
You're crazy.
I don't think I could do that.
It's so good.
selling you talking
It is
about
so
that.
good.
Selling the visual of
are you
that.
selling those pictures?
I'm gonna buy because I did it for probably the second time in ages. Is getting a track session in every now and then. I think for a lot of us, we probably just do our sessions around. We do a lot of gore hill work, but also just Seni P or you're doing speed sessions elsewhere. But mixing in, I think this block especially, I'm trying to mix in more. Different surfaces, not just on concrete, bit of grass, whatever you want to call the Astro at Gore Hill, and some track. I think that was a good switch up the other day, and something about being on the track gives you a bit of buzz and energy, and that really gave me some bit of extra kick, I think, when I was trying to rip a speed session.
Beautiful.
Sprinting around the track.
Yeah, not far off. Yeah, it was
I
great.
like it. You got one, Buddha?
I'm buying what you've touched on today is enjoying the marathon, respecting it, but enjoying it and taking it in and realizing that it's the first major and, things will go right, things will go wrong, but just taking that in and respecting the work that you've done, but also, having a good day out, I think is also the biggest goal that
Number one priority.
you can have.
Very nice. I'm going to go last. Do you understand the segment? Do you have a buy or a sell off the top of your head in the last 2 minutes?
Anything you liked or seen?
Just anything. So, with the cells, it's something like you want to get rid of.
Yeah.
Almost.
Pretty much,
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I've got plenty.
Here we are. Tee off. Give us your hot takes.
Because a lot of you have been buying.
Yeah, we've got-
I like
cells.
sell.
There's got to be.
We
there's
do
gotta
every
be
week.
We
one.
can do another
Yeah.
hour and 1 minute if you want. It's fine.
Another
I'll
half
try not
marathon.
to.
It's always give us your running hot take that you want to sell.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you got?
Yeah. Oh, am I going now? Am I? Okay.
Yeah, go for
Get rid of those cyclists at Bay Run. Oh my god.
Yes. Yes.
I've had so many run-ins with them. It's not funny.
Yeah.
I've had
Yeah.
a lot of
Love
verbals
it. Yeah.
with them. The latest one I had was I was doing a session.
Love
I've
it.
thrown a bot. So there's at the southern end. There's that cafe.
Yeah.
Before you turn before that
Yeah.
Yeah.
turn off to Lewisham or whatever it is, right? There's a grass mounded little rise. I had a drink bottle in my hand at the time. I've thrown the drink bottle onto the mound and not thinking anything of it. And then about 15 seconds later, there's this wanker on a bike. He's like, I'm in the bike lane as well, by the way, so I'm probably in the wrong as it is. But but I'm running at a speed that is only
Comparable
probably
to the bike.
5Ks faster than what they're on the bike. So anyway, I throw this bottle, think nothing of it, and then this guy's just bike behind or whatever, and he's like, oh, you threw the bottle on the road. I'm thinking, fucking, I didn't throw it that hard. I thought he meant the road that where all the cars
Yeah.
were. He meant it's rolled back.
Rolled back.
It's
Oh,
rolled
no.
back. And then and then he's like, oh, it's dangerous. I'm just basically going off at him at 3-minute pace. And
As you're going step
Because
by
I'm-
step.
Yeah. So
yeah, eventually,
kick him.
I'm pretty much
Yeah.
about to that close to knock him off off the bike, and I said, mate, you're moving fucking slow. I was like, you're not going very quick here, mate.
Yeah.
And then I think I'd put a 254 in there. Something.
Yeah.
So I was
good.
running 3
Good
flats,
to him.
running 254s, and he's like, I think what these cyclists don't realise, especially with us elite guys, we're fit enough to still talk shit.
It's not
And I said, well,
and you suck.
Yeah.
but anyway, and I said, well, if you've got a fucking problem, then go and pick it up yourself, mate.
Yeah.
It's not the only time. I had some other guys went off
Very good.
with running with me in the training group that have seen it as well. And another guy, an older guy, they were especially when the paths are
It's a chaotic course to run
Yeah.
on anyway.
It is.
Like, the bikes and
Yeah.
it just kind of isn't really made
But
for
the like when they have the paths combined,
Yeah.
and then they have the cheek to go, oh, this is like a bike lane. I'm like, no, it's not. It's a generalized like
Shared.
shared.
There's two
zone.
pictures
And
of
obvious-
Cyclists need to slow down at this point.
Yeah.
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 And obviously
And
there's going to be more
they had
people
another one
walking
there.
and running, yeah.
But then I had the same guy like trying to sort of like have his hand like to try and like shovel me off. They go, oh, get off the path or whatever. And I was like, it's called Bay Run for a fucking reason.
Hey!
It's like,
It's
it's
on
Bay
base
Run for
Love
a
it.
fucking reason.
Love it.
Yeah, but it's
Love.
not the only. That's not the only place we have a problem with it. Gore Hill as well is also another one. The
Yeah.
walkers, which you know,
Yeah.
Just
it's all right
people
with the
standing
other.
on the white line. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, with Gore Hill, I honestly reckon a good idea would have a directional arrow all the way through, so that walkers don't go towards you while you're running and you're all
Yeah.
going the one direction.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
it's
But there's an outside path. I feel like
That's just talking about running on the
Yeah,
outside.
yeah,
path.
but there's like an
Outside
outside. Like you can walk on the outskirts and everyone can stick to the inside. Like they need on that outside bit to put a line through the middle
yeah.
and just go
Or just like
walkers
a
on one
keep
side,
left.
runners
Yeah, exactly,
on
yeah.
Keep left, but that's too simple.
Right.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
the
But
cyclists on
like,
there.
because what will happen, and this has happened many times, there's people that get cleaned up. And
Yeah.
because the discrepancy of speed, like with the bike, if so, like
Yeah.
a bike cyclist clipped me, it wouldn't be as bad. Like if they'd obviously completely stacked it, but
Yeah.
if they brushed me, the discrepancy in speed would it just be like a normal like
Bump,
Yeah.
right?
run.
Yeah.
But if it's someone walking at 5k an hour, we're running 20, 22 an hour roughly. That's and we go up the back of that.
That's a hard impact.
That's a hard impact
For
that
everyone
they're not
involved.
bracing for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially the ones that are walking, 4 or 5 abreast.
Yeah.
Get rid of it.
Yeah,
Get
love it.
rid of
Get
it.
rid of it.
I love it.
I
A
know
great
I'm
debut sell.
probably
I
in
was
the
going
wrong
to say,
for majority
arguably
of
the
it.
best buy
Debut
sell we've
sell.
had.
Yeah.
Certainly best debut.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
But,
hoping that
yeah.
the debut on Sunday
I was
is
going to say,
quite at that level.
maybe we need a bike rider next year to fire you up in the last K.
Get those Ks bumped up.
just so I'll get them. I'll throw the bottle in front
Exactly
of them.
right.
Yeah, I love it.
Can drop it
Yeah.
to
I'm
50.
pretty good on the bike,
Yeah.
you can attest.
He is. He's, at Gold Coast, he was on the bike cheering me on for the end. So, yeah, maybe we'll need to do that.
Happy
Awesome.
days. I mean, my buy before you went on that lovely,
Tangent.
dare I say, rant. No, it was
Was that an
brilliant.
hour long?
Was going to be guests on the pod. We haven't had too many, but we had 2 yesterday. Obviously, you, Sammy, joining us today. I think it's been great. So more
Lovely
guests
insight.
to come post this.
Can't wait to watch on Sunday.
Yeah.
Going to be exciting. Hopefully, we'll be able to
We'll
see you
hopefully see you
out.
on the turnaround.
See you on the turnaround.
Yeah.
At
Oh,
a
good, yeah.
couple.
Yeah,
Might see your
awesome.
dad as well.
Yeah, probably will.
Get
Yeah.
a photo of what he's wearing kit-wise,
Yeah, love
and
it.
we can
Yeah.
give him a shout.
Love
But
it.
this has been awesome. I do want to obviously give a big shout to Aid Station, our sponsor. Thank you to them. Missed them at the top, but thank you very much to Jimmy, Metz, everyone at Aid Station. We're fueled up and ready to go for this weekend. Had a
Lock it
shipment
in.
arrive, yesterday afternoon, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
A few gels. I had one at the track
Couple
last
last
night.
minute gels, yeah.
Merrick said he could have used one.
Yeah,
in
should
his
have
8
used one.
by 800.
Saved it for Sunday.
Saved a few.
You might need it.
We've got that beetroot
we just had
pure
some
as well.
Yeah, I could ask you so many
The old
questions
nitrates.
about the nitrates and the fueling, but I'll save that for next time you're on the pod.
There you go.
Love it.
Love
Oh,
it.
good.
Any final things?
That's
Wrap it
it.
up, mate.
Rip in on
That's all.
Sunday.
There
Get
you go.
excited.
Awesome.
Good
Good
luck.
best of luck, guys. Too. Hope you all enjoy it, and it should be a good day.
Thanks,
Looking forward to it.
Excited.
Get around him.
Hopefully we'll see you there. But yeah, definitely if you see Sammy running on the weekend,
Leading the thing.
get around him. Yeah. Just pretend you're a
around him,
cyclist
but
and he'll
not on the
kick
bike.
hard. That has been Never Run Alone. Thank you all for listening. Good luck at the weekend. Come one, come all.
I'm running. There you go.
I'm running.
Bang.
I'm running. Ciao.